Vietnamese people, who predominantly live on wet rice cultivation, have many festivities every year which differ from regions and ethnicities. But the biggest festival is the traditional Lunar New Year festival called Tết, which takes place on the first day of the first lunar month when busy harvest time is over. New Year festival Tết coincides with the advent of spring, which is characterized by the blossoming of peach flowers in the north and apricot flowers in the south. People are hectic in their preparations for this long-awaited biggest festival of the year. For Vietnamese people, Tết is meaningful in several ways. It is on the one hand marked with sacred worshipping rituals and provides opportunities to strengthen social ties on the other. On this occasion, people tend to reconcile with each other over daily conflict or enmity. Tết is an ideal time for family reunion. From time immemorial, Vietnamese people believe that there always exists life in another world for the souls of dead people. That's why Tết is not only significant as a holiday after a year of hard work, but also an occasion to pay respect to their ancestors and gods and spirits, such as the earth genie that protects a man's place from evil destruction. The kitchen gods include 2 males and 1 female who take care of a family's eating place throughout the year, and on the 23rd of the last lunar month, they report to the heavenly king the family's affairs. Tết officially starts right after the farewell ceremony for the 3 kitchen gods to heaven, who are welcomed back to the family on the New Year's Eve. The kitchen gods' farewell ceremony is held differently depending on different regional concepts. In the northern region, they are often provided with new gowns and hats and take a ride to heaven by a calf according to traditional customs. The release of live calf into streams, lakes or rivers is also believed to enhance its reproduction in spring. In the south and central regions, the kitchen gods are sent to heaven in ceremonial rituals in hope that when they come back, they will bring good things for the family in the new year. The journey back to heaven by the kitchen gods signals the arrival of Tết. The 12th lunar month is often marked with the busiest business atmosphere of the year. Flowers are sold and bought all year round, but Tết Flower Market is held only once a year. At the Tết Flower Market, peach blossoms, kumquats and apricot branches are dominant. The peach blossom represents vitality and longevity. Meanwhile, the kumquat symbolizes abundance, whereas apricot flowers stand for something elegant and modest. During the early festive spring days, everyone wants to have a beautiful peach blossom or apricot twig to decorate the house or put on ancestors' altar as a sign of luck for the year. In addition to the shopping spree prior to Tet, people normally try to clear debts or offer gifts to thank those that had helped the family or teach the children during the year. Everyone tends to spend freely and present gifts to dear ones to contribute to their Tet preparations. The festive atmosphere is prevalent in every corner of the country, from urban towns to rural communes.
Con đây là với mọn, với mọn là tiệc thì bạn với mọn thôi, với mọn đi.
All preparations for Tet spring out strong desires for a life of plenty and happiness. It is obvious from the dishes for the end of year feast to the decorative things, parallel sentences or hangings on the altar, bearing words like happiness, prosperity and longevity in classic Chinese or folk paintings dating back to the 15th century. The erection of a tree called the Nail of Tet is part of long preparation for Tet celebrations. However, few places retain this custom these days. According to old folks, when Tet came, the Nail of Tet was erected in front of every communal house, in each commune and hamlet, and even in front of each house. The nail tree is significant in many ways. First, the nail will lead the spirits of the ancestors to join their descendants for Tet. Second, the tree will drive away evils from disturbing people's Tet holidays. And third, when the tree is removed at the end of Tet celebrations, if green leaves are seen on the tree, people will anticipate a coming bumper crop or brisk business. Activities everywhere intensify before Tet. Those who are away from home want to get back in time for the holiday, for family reunion. This is also an opportunity to strengthen kinship. By community tradition, when Tet comes, many families in the clan or commune share a pig to have meat for various dishes for Tet, and for bánh chưng, a special kind of Tet cake made of glutinous rice, stuffed with fat pork and green beans and steamed for hours. In the north, chưng cake is made in square shape to represent the earth as a belief of ancient Vietnamese. The same recipe for making chưng cake is used by people in central and southern Vietnam, but they make such cakes in the shape of cylinder. Legend has it that cakes made of this shape originates from a kind of fast food for ancient warriors who were always on the move during Tet. Visiting ancestors' graves at the end of the year has been a custom of the nation dating back to time immemorial. This custom is also reflected in the arrangement of a feast to worship ancestors on New Year's Eve. The worshipping of ancestors and domestic gods does not depend on the state of the family's well-being, but rather dedicates to those that have brought the current life of family members as a fine tradition of Vietnamese people. It is believed that everyone's success in the existing world is witnessed by forefathers who nurtured succeeding generations. Is always the most memorable meal of the year, where all dear ones in the family are often present. After dinner, adults may gather to review work of the previous year over a cup of tea. They may choose to go out for an outdoor art performance or pay tribute to the Buddha at the pagoda of certain genies at the temple. It is a common practice for young people in urban and rural areas alike to pluck young buds at this time of the year, which is believed to bring prosperity. They may return home after the eve and carry with them small twigs full of young leaves and buds. Some prefer to bring home a burning incense stick from a pagoda to put on the ancestors' altar as a sign of luck for the family throughout the new year. Children also stay up with adults during these sacred hours. They are not waiting for the new year the way their counterparts in the West expect Santa Claus to bring toys and gifts, but rather enjoy watching how adults welcome the new year. People spiritually believe that every year heaven sends a genie to rule them down on earth. That's why everyone heartily prays for the genie's blessing.
Nhân dịp mà năm Nhâm Thìn đã qua, năm Tân Tỵ đã tới, còn
it is an age-old custom that people wish their parents and grandparents good health and longevity. The elderly, in turn, wish the young 1 year older by offering some new small banknotes.
Nào, thế bây giờ năm sớm thì là bà gọi có chút nhỏ thôi. Tuổi cho cháu nhé, ngoan này, cho cháu bóng này, ngoan quá.
A Vietnamese proverb goes, if you respect the elderly, you will be blessed to live long. In the early days of the new year, there remains the custom of celebrating the elderly's birthday. The 70 years old are offered a yellow dress. Those who reach 80 will receive a red dress amidst applause of well-wishers. On the morning of the first day of the new year, people often visit the closest persons, such as parents, other family members, and teachers. Some choose to visit major pagodas to pray for happiness and peace for their family. New Year visits, often followed by a pilgrimage to folklore festivities in different places. These festivals may last many more days after the official Tet holidays. Planting trees in spring has been a popular custom in Vietnam. People often go to a market which is held only once a year in early spring to buy seedlings of fruit trees to plant in their gardens or along handed roads. The Hmong ethnic group often settle in mountain areas to the north and west of the country. New Year festival is an important and sacred event for the Hmong ethnic people because it is not only a relaxing festivity but also an occasion for family reunion. The Hmong people also believe that this festivity takes place at a time of perfect harmony between yin and yang, where the living can meet the dead. That's why descendants can worship and pray to their ancestors for favorable weather conditions and everyone's well-being. It was once such a long way to reach the monks' Vafaco hamlets. It took 2 days to travel to these villages from Machau district. During crop seasons, married couples carrying their newborn babies head out tens of kilometers through forests to grow maize and rice. Now with roads built with state fund running through these hamlets, the local population embark on a farm-level economy instead of sweetening cultivation. The Hmong ethnic people follow simple procedures to erect altars to worship ancestors and spirits or domestic gods. On the last day of the lunar year, they slaughter a chicken for blood and take out some neck feather, deepen it into the blood and place it on the altar as a symbol of sacrifice offering. The altar is often arranged to include 3 incense burners dedicated to ancestors, to the domestic god and the medical god. The ancestral worshipping rituals always include bánh dày, a special kind of cake made of glutinous rice. A legend of the Hmong people from Hòa Bình province says, from time immemorial, the ancestor of the Hmong people once fell into a deep valley. Yet he was lucky to survive and was rescued from the valley by an eagle. At the bottom of the valley, he found a handful of grains. After he was rescued, he brought the grains to his house and planted them on the ground. Soon plants grew up and bore lots of grains. When they were ripe, he ground them into fine flour and made delicious cakes. Since then, the Hmong people adopted a habit of making such glutinous cakes to put on altars to thank ancestors and the strange bird that saved the ancestor. The Hmong people often treat their daily production or hunting utensils as those with spirit. This means such tools are entitled to rest and be worshipped by the side of the altars dedicated to ancestors and genies. The New Year festival for the Hmong people lasts 3 days. People have the custom of making visit from one house to another and joining meal with whoever they visit. Both young men and women of the Hmong are good at drinking wine, and that's why each family often prepares an abundance of wine and liquor to treat visitors. Some liquor made from maize which tastes light at the first sip, but it is likely to make you drunk if you drink too much. Hmong people celebrate several other festivities throughout the year, but the New Year festival is the biggest and receives the most thorough preparations. Nowadays, the Hmong people in several areas celebrate the New Year like the king majority. Several other ethnic groups hold modern cultural and sports activities on this event, yet traditional cultural rituals and habits still hold a significant place. Legend has it that the Giao Tien crossed its sea to land on Vietnam back in the Lý dynasty in the 13th century. The sea voyage was rough and many boats carrying the Giao Tien people were sunken. The New Year festival of the Giao Tien in the northern province of Hòa Bình begins from early of the last day of the lunar old year. Not all families celebrate this festival. Some families which encountered bad fortune in the previous year, such as people's ailments, cattle's deaths and crop failure, hold rituals to pray for luck in the coming year. Some families that enjoy fortune, such as becoming wealthy and healthy, often hold rituals to thank the mountain and earth genies for their blessing. The Giao Tien New Year celebration often includes worshipping, dancing and singing, and is thus called Dancing Festival. The Dancing Festival has its origin a long way back to the time people were defeated and had to flee into forest for refuge. On the last day of the last lunar month of the year, all these warriors miss their villages and the land where they were born and grew up. To boost the sacred morale of these warriors, the tribe chief ordered a military drill to welcome the new year. This exercise is demonstrated through a dance in which different people assume different tasks: wrestling swords, waving flags, beating drums and gongs, displaying martial arts and riding horse. The army drilling dance on the New Year's Eve has since become a traditional dance on the New Year's festival aimed to pray for peace and drive away evils. While dancing, the Dao people often sing songs from ancient books, recalling major anniversaries and activities in the year and advising the younger generations what they should and shouldn't do, especially experience in production techniques. People are also reminded to work hard to save for rainy days and for future generations. The Zhaodian's New Year feast always includes salted meat to be accompanied with certain leaves and wine. To have the salty and sour meat for this occasion, the locals prepare it carefully well in advance. The wine, called Zi Huang, is fermented but not distilled. It is easy to get drunk from this fragrant and sour liquor. For the Thai ethnic group in Mai Châu of Hoa Binh province, the New Rice Festival is the biggest of the year. However, at present, they are influenced by the Viet and the Mueang people in the region to celebrate the New Rice Festival together with the New Year Festival. The Thai ethnic people call the nail tree Ta Leo. The house owner erects a nail to mark the changeover between the old year and the new year and welcome domestic genies or ancestors to enjoy the festival and prevent against other ghosts from troubling. This moment is considered the beginning of the New Year festival. The chung cake is wrapped in zong leaves. The cakes are tied together in pairs as a symbol of fertility. It is a common belief that everyone and everything are always created in pairs, like yin and yang. The snail cake is wrapped in banana leaves, which is a yang element in the totem. During the New Year festival, friends often visit each other. Young couples pay New Year visits to their parents-in-law, and people also visit and repair graves of their ancestors, which is a cultural activity popular among the Viet and Mueang people. The worshipping feast tray always includes fish, meat, birds and wild animals, and steamed glutinous rice in different colors. During this worshipping ritual, the sorcerer calls up the souls of people from the other world to join their descendants for the festivity. In his prayer, the sorcerer tells stories in verse praising generations of the Thai people for contributing to the improvement of the existing generation. He also mentions experience in production and agricultural seasons calendar and songs.
Trái trơn đâu, mời mời đâu, mời khán đâu khán đâu, khoái đâu.
The Thai girls are always the most dynamic entertainers during the festivity by sparking subsequent folk dance. The elderly, meanwhile, take part in a kind of alternate singing which lasts far into the night. Numerous springs have come since the founding of the nation, when King Lạc Long Quân led 50 sons to the sea and Mother Âu Cơ led 50 others to the mountain in Phong Châu and set up the Văn Lang nation. Many other springs have also elapsed since the ancient people came from Lang Sơn province in the north, in the time of bronze drum makers of the Đông Sơn civilization that resounds the appeal for marching into battles and festivities. Until this spring, the first one in the 21st century, Vietnamese people have gone through a long way full of ups and downs and proudly created a land that shined along the coastline of the East Sea. These spring days are festive for all 54 Brazilian nationalities of the Vietnamese community. All want to join in pilgrimage to temples, pagodas and shrines to offer thanks to predecessors and mingle themselves in nature for their peace of mind and anticipate a bright and happy life ahead.
Trong